Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Integrating Interactive Dashboards and Reports into Your Angular Apps. My name is Jason Barris. I'm a Senior VP here at Infragistics. My email, jasonb@infragistics.com, and I've been with the company for over 20 years. This is actually our 35th year anniversary, so we've been around a while, and the two products you're going to see today, Reveal and App Builder, are a big part of bringing great solutions to development teams and your users to drive a digital transformation. I'm going to talk a little bit about App Builder today, but we're also going to start from scratch in an Angular app to build out a Reveal client. So here is the agenda. We're going to look at the Reveal server I have set up. I'm not going to create a server from scratch. There's videos online that show you how to do that. However, I will review some of the APIs that we're going to use. And then I'm going to use the console, just create a new Angular app. Then I'm going to add the new Reveal web components to it. And you'll see how quickly you can get up and running with Reveal in your application with our new web component wrapper. So we still have this JavaScript file, but now we've wrapped it as a web component so you can do an npm install in your Angular, your React app, etc. It's really a nice experience. And while the API is the same, the configuration's a little bit different, a little bit easier, less verbose, so it's pretty nice. And then I'm going to show you how to do the same thing, although using App Builder, just a quick WYSIWYG, code generate, boom, you have Reveal in an Angular app. All of this will be in the demo. Some quick housekeeping. Recording and slides will be available after the webinar. Please use the questions window and make sure you select public, and someone will handle that question during the webinar, or I will after the webinar is over. So today's product focus, Reveal for the most part, and App Builder. I always like to talk about App Builder because many of you are going through some type of digital transformation. And I was just on a call with a customer last week, or a prospect, and they're like, oh, okay, now we have to figure out how to use Angular. Well, App Builder is the perfect tool to do that, and you will see that in today's demo. So what is Reveal? Reveal helps you accelerate insights with self-service embedded BI. This is in the market. We embed in your application. We have a client-side JavaScript file, and if you're using .NET Core in the back end, we have a NuGet package. Node, we have an NPM package. Java, we have a package in Maven, and that's how you add us into your application. The SDK allows you to view, edit, share interactive dashboards. We give you an API on both the client and the server to control the entire experience. So, for example, maybe you want to have row-level security. Maybe you want to have a configuration on the look and feel per customer or per user. Maybe some people are allowed to edit, others are not. Maybe you don't want people to export to Excel. All of that is controlled by you via our API. And as I mentioned, we do have a client and a server based on the tech stack that you use. Plus, we have about 30 data connectors. So all of your typical tabular data sources like a SQL Server, Oracle, Azure SQL, MySQL, Postgres, BigQuery, Snowflake, MongoDB, etc. So then App Builder, which is part of my demo today. What is App Builder? App Builder is a low-code tool that allows you, through a drag-and-drop WYSIWYG experience, to build out beautiful app experiences and then generate code. So design, build apps in the cloud. We actually just shipped, well, not just, but maybe in the last 6 or 8 months, an on-prem version of App Builder. So if you don't want your application designs in the cloud, you can deploy on-prem. And coming soon, we have an embedded SDK of this. So if you're thinking about the embedded SDK of Reveal, you also might want to look at the embedded SDK of App Builder. And of course, this takes all of your app building capabilities into consideration, like binding to data, customizing themes, master detail, validation, all of the core scenarios that you would need to build out that app experience. And of course, we generate code for React, Angular, web components, Blazor, and Blazor WASM, and Blazor Server. And we work with both Figma and Sketch. If you want to upload your designs to the cloud, we will convert it to the common app model that App Builder understands, and then you can modify those designs as real applications in App Builder, then generate code. So pretty slick. You'll see that how that works with the WYSIWYG and code generation today in my demo. So with that, let's jump right into a demo. We'll look at Reveal, and then we'll look at Reveal plus App Builder so you can see how to integrate Reveal into your Angular applications. First, we will just take a quick look at our server application. I have it running locally at localhost 7219, and I've added a bunch of my own APIs here, but one of them will just pull in the dashboards that are on the server. We have a dashboard called Order SQL and then Sales Order Analysis, so we'll end up displaying those throughout our demos today. But first, I am at C:\webinar. Let's do an ng new Reveal client demo, and this will go ahead and create a new Angular application. So this will take a second. It's going to go ahead and install all of the NPM packages, and then we'll install our web component wrappers as well. All right, that's wrapped up. So let's change to that directory. We'll do a cd reveal client demo, and we'll do an npm install, and we want to install the Reveal SDK wrappers. And these are the new wrappers around the JavaScript file. Gives you a little less verbose API and a more modern approach to building out apps with Reveal. So let's go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code. And I'll slide this guy over. So here's our Visual Studio Code. And let's go ahead and open up a new terminal. And we will do an npm start there in a second. But first, let's go ahead and configure what we need to make this application whole. So now I want to go and start adding some of the capability we need to enable Reveal. So first off, in our index.html, we need to add our dependencies. I have a few code snippets that we're going to use today. So this added the 3 dependencies that we need: jQuery, day.js, and the latest Reveal 1.7.0. Based on when you are looking at this webinar, you may see that we're on 1.9 or 2.0 or 2.5. Just check our docs and make sure you're using the correct dependencies. Next, let's go over to main. And in main, what we want to do is add our Reveal SDK settings as well as the import for the web components that we're going to use in this project. So let's go back to Reveal, and I want to add my set base URL. So what that's going to do is it's going to tell my application that the server is running at localhost 7219, which we saw earlier. Now we also want to enable jQuery, so we have to say let that $ work there. And right before this, we are going to import the SDK wrappers, which we need to get all of our IntelliSense, and we simply call define SDK wrappers, and we are good to go there. So now we have our main TS set up. We have our index.html set up. Let's go to our app. So let's go over to our index.html here, and this is all of our app component.html. This is all the boilerplate stuff that you get from Angular. So if we did an npm start, let's make sure everything is saved. We'll do a save all. A yes, we'll use a different port. And port 5993. There's an extra script tag. Let's go and fix that really quick. Whoops, scroll over, extra script tag. Sorry about that. My code snippet is not working very well in that case, so let's do the Control-C, and we'll run this guy again. And yes, we'll use a different port, and let's go ahead and look at this guy. So this is what we get by default is hello Reveal client demo. I want to get rid of all that because we want to add Reveal. So let's go to app component, Control All, and we'll delete this. And now what I want to do is insert the web component container. So this is something new. And in the past, what you did is you would add a div. And then the div, you would give it a tag like hashtag reveal for the ID or reveal view. And then you would load the dashboard into that view through the load dashboard function. But now with this web component wrapper, everything has changed. So you'll note that there's a couple important things here. First is the dashboard. So what dashboard are we loading? Well, we're going to go ahead and create a variable called dashboard name in our TS file. So that will be what's loaded by default. And then we have some options. Those options are a configuration which define all of the things that we want Reveal to do. So like, for example, can edit, can export. Do we want to show header? Do we want to add custom menu items? So I'll give you a flavor of what that looks like. And then finally, I am telling this to take up the whole page. So the RV Reveal View is the new way that you are going to be adding Reveal to your application. So let's go to our app component and let's go ahead and add a few things here. So the first thing I'm going to add is in my component configuration, I want to tell this component that it's using a custom schema. Again, we need this because we are using this web component, and with Angular, if we're using a web component, we need to actually tell it what the schema is so it knows how to enable IntelliSense. Next, in our app component class, let's go ahead and let's add, first of all, those new dashboard options that I had mentioned. So what happens now with Reveal with the web component wrappers is that you have an option set which defines, for example, the properties that you want to set on the Reveal view. So in this case, I'm setting a few simple properties. Show filter equals false, show menu equals true, and I'm adding some custom menu items. If you're an existing customer and you've configured Reveal through the TypeScript files in an Angular app or React app, etc., you know that this is all set on the Reveal view. So you would say Reveal view, you would do a view child, get that reference to that native element, and then you would go ahead and start adding properties there. Well, this is a little bit different. All I have is an options configuration, and then in the HTML, I'm telling my Reveal component what options to use. So it's expecting an options property. I'm going to pass it those options. Likewise, remember our dashboard name. I also added our dashboard name here. So we have a red squiggly. Let's go ahead and import this from Reveal SDK wrappers. And that is all we need to do. So I've added my options. I've added the dashboard that I want to load, and I've added my Reveal view component. Let's go ahead. We will save all. Let's go and do an npm start. And we'll bring this guy back up. Yes, use a different port. And we will view this in the browser. So we can see here that my dashboard loaded up. This is my SQL order SQL dashboard that we have on the server. And just like that, I went from just an empty Angular application to a full dashboard with all of the capabilities. You also notice here is my custom menu items. I've got my edit. You'll notice that the filter bar is not showing, and this has all of my filter options. So all of the stuff that you expect in the full self-service capability is all here, doing this just with starting from scratch with Angular, adding the web component, and boom, we are done. So next, let's do the same thing in App Builder. So I have App Builder. I'm already logged in here, and you can see I've got a bunch of these guys open. What we're going to do is we're going to use this Swagger endpoint as our data source for the dashboards that are sitting on the server. So let's go ahead and we'll create a new application in App Builder. I could pick any one of the templates, or I could start with one of these custom applications or sample apps. I am going to pick just a blank page, and there's nothing going on here. So let's first go to our data sources. I'm going to click the plus sign. We'll do a REST API, and I'm going to say Reveal Webinar is my data source. We are using the Swagger file. So there is my Swagger file. We'll save this guy, and we'll configure the endpoints. So this will give me all of the endpoints that are available to me. I want to use the dashboard name. So let's go ahead and view what I'm going to get back. So I'm going to get those two guys back, and I'm not going to use anything else. We'll just select that data and we are done. Let's pick a layout. I'm going to do a side-by-side layout. I want this left side to take up, let's say 20% of my page. I'm going to not right-click, but I'm going to go over to the toolbox. I'm going to add a list to this, so I'll drag a list component over. I want this to be data-bound. What's it going to be data-bound to? Well, I want it to be data-bound to my Reveal webinar, dashboard names. What do I want to display here? Let's go ahead and display the dashboard title. So that's good enough. And underneath in the subtitle, we can display the file name. That's fine. It's, it doesn't really matter. Your users know things by their title, not necessarily by the file name. And we can do some other things here. So we have an avatar that can be bound to an image, but we really don't have any images. So I'm going to remove the avatar and I'm going to remove the actions. But what I want to do is I want to set an interaction. So what on the interactions on click, I want to set a variable. So let's create a new variable. We're going to call this dashboard name. And the dashboard name is going to be a local variable. So we'll create this. And what is the value? Well, the value is going to be the file name of whatever is selected here in my list. And then what are we going to do with that? Well, we want to load that now into a Reveal dashboard. So I could go back to the toolbox, type in Reveal, or I could do a Control E, type in Reveal. Boom, I have my dashboard here. I don't want to use this default because this is over at App Builder Indigo Design. I want to use HTTPS localhost 7219, and that's going to be my local server. And I don't want to set a dashboard name here. What I want to do is I want to set the variable name of whatever is selected here. So whatever a user selects here, I want that to actually show up. So if I click the Run button and I select these dashboards, you can see that they render nicely in my Reveal view. If I go back to edit mode, we could do some other things, like I could go to the theme. We could do a dark theme. I could change this to Open Sans. Maybe I create a custom theme, which I have a bunch of different custom themes here. So if I pick this Lato style theme, my dashboards are going to pick up those themes when we generate that code. So it's going to be pretty darn nice. But I want to stick with my default. We'll just use this theme. But you'll probably notice when I did view this at runtime, so when I selected this guy, code is being generated here on the right-hand side. You'll see here, there's my RV Reveal view with my dashboard name, with my dashboard options. And this is using Angular modules. If I do Angular standalone components, very similar code. Many of you guys are using React. What does this look like with React? Well, there we go. There's the React code. You also might be using Blazor WebAssembly or Blazor Server. All of this will get generated with App Builder's code generation feature. So let's go back to edit mode. And what do I want to do now? Well, I want to get the code for this. So I could publish this to GitHub, or I could download the zip. Let's go ahead and publish to GitHub. We'll give this a name like Reveal Webinar, and we'll make this a public repository. I'll create this repository, and what it's doing is it's actually going to take what we've designed on this design surface, push it up to our code generation service, which takes the common application model, which is what we use on the design surface. It will generate the entire application, and then it will publish it out to GitHub. So I actually didn't give my app a name. I should have done that here. It's called Untitled App, but no big deal. Let's go ahead. I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do a new Visual Studio Code window, Command-Shift-P. Let's do a git clone. Let's paste this guy, Reveal Webinar. That's fine. Let's open this. So now what I have is, if I look into my source, index.html, this has all of my dependencies. If I go into my app and I go to my master view, There's my component with the reveal view. There's the list item. If we look at our TypeScript file, this has all of the stuff that is needed to build out that app experience. If I go down to services, this is actually going to get that API from my endpoint. So all of this code is built for you. Let's go to terminal. Let's do an npm install. And we'll close up these guys. So that's going to install all of the dependencies that I need. Let's do an npm start. All of my dependencies have been added. And we'll use a separate port. Yes. And what we'll get here is exactly what you saw in App Builder. So we have a list view, data bound. I'll select a list item, and then the dashboard shows up right there in my Angular app. I didn't have to write a single line of code to make this happen. App Builder did all of the hard work for me. So here we are running localhost 60474. I'll select order analysis. That pops up. There's my sales order analysis. So both of these dashboards come up as expected. All of my features are here. If I go into edit mode, I can go click edit. So I'm editing this app experience. I can add filters. Basically, all of the reveal features are available to me. So just like that, with a couple drag and drops and point and clicks using App Builder, I have a full self-service BI app with the dashboards that I happen to have up in my server. So with that, let's go back to the slides and wrap this up. Okay, so hopefully you saw how easy it was first just to straight up add reveal to an Angular app. It's like a handful of lines of code, and it's basically just configuration, and you're loading up a dashboard which has the full self-service lifecycle. I went ahead and I loaded my dashboard. I could edit it, change visualizations, automatically saved. So very simple to get going in your Angular app. And then, of course, with App Builder, you saw just a quick WYSIWYG. I bound to my server API, did a WYSIWYG. I had an app running. Even in App Builder, then I generated that Angular code. As I'm wrapping up here, please answer the poll that just popped up. The poll questions are important. They actually help us drive features and capabilities into the product so we understand what you need when you're building out embedded BI applications. So with Reveal, simple and beautiful user experiences don't have to be hard to build. Getting started with those web components was super easy. As I said, just a few lines of code, some simple configuration, and we are up and running. And then if you sprinkle in App Builder with that, it's even easier. Like there's literally no code. It's a no code. Well, it's a low code tool, but in the case of the example I showed, there was no code. Everything was generated for you. And this is production ready code. So if you start looking at side by side what you can write and then what App Builder is generating, you'll be hard pressed to see or say anything that you might change in that App Builder code. And by the way, you might want to build out a React app or a web component app or a Blazor app. It all works with App Builder. So you could really drive this full-featured self-service capability with Reveal in not only just a regular app that I start from scratch, but with App Builder. When you combine them, you really do deliver these applications at a 10x pace than you would otherwise hand coding everything. So with that, next steps, contact us at infragistics.com. Contact or email us at sales@infragistics.com or sales@revealbi.io. Give us a call. Shoot me an email at jasonb@infragistics.com. We can get you started with a technical deep dive of Reveal, or if you just have some questions, shoot us an email. To learn more about App Builder, go to appbuilder.dev, revealbi.io. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thanks for all the questions in the chat, and we will see you at the next webinar in a couple of weeks.